Ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. Guys, you guys just love the tier list videos. They do so well on the channel. I love making them. We've already done NFL quarterbacks, we've done coaches, so by this point we should just keep moving along. We're going to move on to running backs for this video. This should be a good one now. The running back position in the NFL is more fragile than your grandma's collection of authentic vases, assuming she has that, because you just blink your eyes and a team's starting running back is probably out for the year or out for an extended period of time. It's a really fragile position, probably the most fragile position in all of sports. So therefore, for that reason, some of these running backs are not as relevant as they were at the beginning of the season. This tier list was made at the beginning. I didn't want to make an entirely new tier list. This is the one I found. This is the best I could do. So these are running backs coming into this year. We have some backups as well. Now, if there's a running back here that's not relevant anymore, like he's no longer the starting running back, for the reason of being bad or just being injured or something like that, I will fill in the current running back if they've played a majority of games and pretty much replace this running back. But we're going to do the best we can. Make sure to comment your opinions as always. So let's rank the NFL running backs in the league. Every starting running back and a couple prominent backups. Let's just do this. Running back tier list time. All right, we're starting off with the random order that has been assigned with this tier list. I didn't make this order. It's just the way it is. But let's just start off with Austin Eckler, who is a great running back. Is he an S tier? We might need some more running backs to compare him to, but for now I'm going to put him in the A tier because he's great. Absolute, maybe the best receiving running back. Just a terrific piece of the Chargers offense and such an important piece to that team, obviously. Really good runner, great yards per carry, but he isn't a true workhorse running back. So I think how good you are as a rusher matters. I mean, the total package, he's right up there, but I think he's not quite in the S tier, but A tier seems fitting. Next, we have Antonio Gibson, Washington's running back. I think he's a really good, really solid running back. He's been in the league 2 years, been really good. He's a solid rusher. He's not quite at the tier of Austin Eckler. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I think that's about where he is. Not a great pass catcher and not one of the more elite running backs, but really solid and a big piece of that offense. Next, we have Aaron Jones, who got a massive contract this offseason as he re-signed with the Packers. For fantasy football, he might be an S tier, but I don't think he's quite an S tier running back. I think he's with the Ecklers of the world. Like, he's a good blend of rushing and receiving. He's a good receiving running back. Gets a ton of touchdowns, but I just don't think he's the workhorse. He's not enough of a workhorse and a prominent piece of the offense. They're still a pass-first team with Mr. Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position. So I just can't quite put him in the S tier. All right, next we have Chris Carson, who is always hurt. I mean, look, he's out for the year, so what am I going to do? Do I put Chris Carson? Do I put whoever is starting for the Seahawks, Alex Collins, or whatever? I'm just going to put Chris Carson when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's solid. He's a B tier. He's a good running back, so I think that's about right. Then we move on to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was a first-round pick last year for the Chiefs and had a disappointing rookie season, if we're all being honest. I think most Chiefs fans could agree. This year, though, he has been injured for a little bit. He is back. But the times he's played, he's looked really good. Definitely better than last year. But is he in the 8? I think he's a B tier running back. I just think he's not a workhorse enough to be in the A tier, and he hasn't shown enough for long enough. I think he's with the Gibsons and Carsons of the world when healthy, so I think that's where he belongs. Chase Edmonds, we're going to have a lot of B tier running backs. I think he's another B tier. I think he has great speed, really elusive, but he's not really a workhorse. He doesn't have enough of a... I think the way I judge this is it's got to combine everything. Your talent, what you've shown on the field, maybe health a little bit, maybe just how much of a fixture of your offense you are. If you're like the main weapon on offense, if you're a true workhorse, that can help your case. I just don't think... He splits time with James Conner right now in the Cardinals, and he's not even healthy right now. But when he plays in the limited action, he's a beast. Like, he's got a ton of talent, great speed, great between the tackles. So I think a B tier is applicable here. I think he's a really good running back. Next, we have Christian McCaffrey, a perfect example of the unfortunateness of being a running back and how you can have all the talent in the world but still get hurt and unfortunately not be able to display it all the time. Like, look at McCaffrey. He's out for the year just like last year. But when he plays, though, I mean, come on. He's got a case for being the best running back in the league. Just an absolute beast. No question, S tier, obviously. Then we move on to Dalvin Cook, another great S tier running back who's hurt. And I'm telling you, this is such a fragile position, and it sucks because he's so good when he plays. Obviously, we've seen it the last 2 years. Just had a shoulder injury this past week. Really unfortunate. But yeah, definitely an S tier. Just a true beast of a running back, true workhorse. So yeah, definitely S tier, no doubt about it. Then we move on to Damian Harris, who... okay, he's really good when he plays, but he's not a workhorse. He's splitting time with Ramondre Stevenson, the rookie who's looked really good for Bill Belichick and the Pats, who look like the best team in the AFC right now. I just don't think he's shown enough to be anything higher than B tier. Is he B tier? Yeah, he's B tier because I think he's a good running back when he plays. When I think of C, I think of like, you're just average. You're not that good. B is you're good. So I think he deserves to be there. Then we move on to who I think is the best pure rushing over. I think just the best running back in the league when healthy. King Henry, Derrick Henry, no doubt about it. You can argue McCaffrey if you want to talk about the totality of the abilities that these running backs have, but I'm just talking about pure rushing. I got to give 30 carries to one person on this tier list. You're giving it to the big dog. You're giving it to the king. You're giving it to Derrick Henry. Hopefully he comes back soon. I think he's getting closer to a return. I love that guy. You love that guy. We all love that guy. Just a massive beast of a human being. He's awesome. Definite S tier, no question about it. Then we have Darrell Henderson, the Rams running back. You know, this was supposed to be Cam Akers, but obviously tore his ACL in the offseason, so this is Darrell Henderson's backfield. Most of the carries go to him. He has a majority of the snaps over Sony Michel still. I think he's a B tier running back. He's really solid. He's good. He's quick. He catches passes. It just does a little bit of everything. Really solid. But yeah, not in the tier of, the guys in A and S tier, but really solid piece of that offense. David Montgomery. Now, David Montgomery's interesting because his first couple years in the league, pretty much all the way up until the second half of last year, he might have been a C or D tier running back. Just horrendous efficiency, really bad yards per carry, didn't catch passes. But I don't know what happened the last year if you combine the last half of last season and all the way up until this season, the amount of games he's played, which is about a full season. He's really turned it on. I don't know where this has come from. I think he was hearing whispers that he's overrated and not good or blah, blah, whatever. He's turned it around and he's looked great. I think he's an A-tier running back. He's a workhorse, can catch passes. He's just been a beast. I don't know where this has come from. He just turned it on the last year, and credit to him because, the Bears sometimes can be disgusting when we're talking about offense. So credit to him. He's really picked it up. Next, we have Devin Singletary. Now, I will include Zach Moss here because first of all, any Buffalo running back at this point is going to go in the D tier because they don't run the ball. How can I put you anywhere higher than the lowest tier if you're not even running the ball? Josh Allen is the best running back on that team. No Bills running back has any business being higher than the D tier. End of discussion. Next, we have DeAndre Swift. Now, look, I got to give credit to this man. The Lions, obviously, we all know the Lions are trash. But this guy has found a way to be a workhorse running back, combined receiving and rushing. He's got a ton of catches, beast in fantasy football and in real life, somehow a great running back on a really bad team. He's definitely an A tier in my opinion. Yeah, DeAndre Swift's a beast. Credit to him. I mean, he didn't even have that good of a rookie season last year. This year, sophomore breakout for sure. I know he's kind of banged up right now. Hopefully he's okay. It's not a long-term injury. But yeah, he's a beast. Then we have Ezekiel Elliott. Look, there's going to be some salary bias, and he's a big name, and he's getting paid a lot. So maybe that people on TV will say that he's one of the more elite running backs. I'm sorry. He's good. He's really good. But he's not. I don't see him at the level of these A-tier guys. I think he's B. I think he's really solid. And to be honest with you, I think the only reason that he's ahead of Tony Pollard on the depth chart is because of the amount of money he made. I think if the Cowboys could go back in time, I don't think they would have given him the contract they would have given him because Tony Pollard is at least as good as him. Probably better, more dynamic right now. Zeke's kind of slowed down. He just doesn't have that burst. And Tony Pollard, I'll put him next to Zeke at B tier. We'll just kind of combine. When we're talking about if there's two running backs here on the same team, we'll just try to rank them at the same time. So that's what we're going to do with Tony Pollard. But if Tony Pollard were a workhorse, got like 20 touches a game or 20 carries a game, I don't know. I think he might even be better than Zeke in the A tier probably. But we're just going to keep him in B at this point. Gus Edwards. Okay, Gus Edwards is irrelevant. He tore his Achilles or ACL at the beginning of it. He hasn't played all year. So the Ravens, it's a revolving door for the Ravens running backs, obviously. So, okay, so I see Le'Veon Bell here. I'm going to put Gus Edwards, Le'Veon Bell, and Latavius Murray in the D tier because just for the fact that none of them have really had that much of an opportunity And when they have, none of them have been good. It's been tough to watch. The Ravens revolving door of running backs has been an ugly sight. I don't see them anywhere higher than D tier. I mean, let me know if you're a Ravens fan and you've been watching more closely than me, but I'm not convinced that any of them are higher than D tier at this point. I think all of them are averaging like under 4 yards per carry, and it's just they're just in desperation mode to get some running back. They're just picking up guys off their practice squad. I think Devontae Freeman's now the lead back who's not even on this list. I think they're all in the D tier just because of lack of volume and efficiency. So then we move on to Josh Jacobs. Now, in the past, I've mentioned that I am not a big fan of Josh Jacobs. I think he's a little overrated. Doesn't mean he's not a good running back. I think he's still really solid, but he's not efficient, doesn't catch a ton of passes. He's just not in the A or S tier. I think he's B. I think he's really solid, but I just can't put him anywhere above that. I know he was a first-round pick. Like I said, ton of volume, gets a good amount of touchdowns, but I don't know. He's not very efficient, and I just think he's a little overrated. That's just what I think. Joe Mixon, okay, for the Bengals, he's really come on as of late. Do I think he's in the S tier? He's close, but I'm going to put him in the A tier. I think he's a great running back, really solid, and yeah, he's really turned it on. The Bengals have kind of become a rush first team, which is surprising. You know, he's just looked really good, having a terrific season, and he's been great. Definitely his best season by far. So definitely an A tier running back at the minimum. Next we have James Robinson, who's the running back of my Jags. This guy's fantastic. He's in the A tier because look, he's on a terrible team. Trust me, I know. Terrible team. Always negative game script. But here he is averaging over 5 yards per carry. I don't know how he does it. He's a beast. I mean, and he catches passes. Undrafted. Look, James Robinson's living proof that you don't need to use a first or even second round draft pick on a running back. You can find great running backs that aren't, you can just find great running backs anywhere. And James Robinson's a perfect example. Undrafted out of Illinois State. Just the moment he stepped on the field, he's been a beast. I think a lot of Jags fans were really confused when they released Leonard Fournette at the beginning of last year. He's the reason why. That's the explanation. I get it. I mean, he's just a beast. So next we have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor had a great rookie year last year, but I don't know if it was just fantasy football circles, but some people didn't think that he would really improved that much from last year. They weren't really high on him entering this year. I don't know why, but all he's done is been an MVP candidate, and at this point, definitely an S tier. If you combine all the running backs who have been mostly healthy this year, I think he's been the best running back in football. I mean, he's stayed healthy, knock on wood, hopefully continues to stay healthy, just putting up great, unreal numbers, workhorse, just a beast. No doubt S tier, maybe the most surprising running back this year, just been awesome. Kenyon Drake, let's just put him in C tier. I think he's the highest paid backup, but he just doesn't play that much, and when he does, he's not that good. Is he in the D tier? I don't know. I think C tier is about right. I think we should have at least one running back in C tier. I think he's better than the guys below him, but he's a receiver, better receiver than Josh Jacobs, but is he that good? No. I'm going to say no. Then we have Kareem Hunt, who has been hurt for a while, but I think he is coming back this week. And he's really good. I don't think he's in the A tier because he doesn't have that volume. But if he was a workhorse running back, absolutely A tier. And but he's the second guy. I can't put a second guy in the A tier. You got to be a workhorse or at least close to it, or at least be the first guy on your team on your depth chart to be, I think, in the A tier. But he's a great running back in the limited touches that he gets. Then we move on to a guy who is definitely not A tier before the last couple weeks. A guy in Leonard Fournette who has taken over the Bucs backfield from Ronald Jones, and last week 4 touchdowns, just been so great. His stock has been going up and up, and now I think he's worked his way into the A tier. Surprisingly, he's catching a good amount of. He's become a good pass catching running back after taking some criticism for being a terrible pass catcher in the past. I don't know how he's doing it. He's running with great efficiency and burst that, honestly, I didn't see in Jacksonville most of the time he was there. But credit to him. I mean, he's been a beast recently. I think he's in the A tier. Oh, boy. Mike Davis. Okay. Falcons running back. All right. If this were Cordero Patterson, okay, I would put him in like the B or A tier because he's really come on. But for the most part, Mike Davis has had most of the carries for the Falcons up until like the last 3 or 4 weeks. He was the number 1 running back on the depth chart, and he's so bad. I made a video, if you didn't see it, NFL All Disappointment Team, he was a running back on that list. He's just, oh my God, he's been so bad. They thought he was going to be a good free agent signing, fix the backfield problem, but he's been horrible. Definitely D tier. But if this was Cordero Patterson, if he was here, Probably B tier. I think he's been really solid. Maybe even A tier. I don't know. Really unexpected. Then we have Myles Gaskin. Okay, Myles Gaskin has been the absolute number one on the Dolphins, but he's a pretty decent pass catcher. He's serviceable, but he's not very efficient. I think he's getting under 4 yards per carry. I think he's a C tier running back. He's not bad, but he's not that good either. He's just all right. Then we have Melvin Gordon. Okay, Melvin Gordon, I'm going to include Javonte Williams. I think they're pretty much at the same level right now. The question is he B tier or C tier? Is he as good as the... I'm going to put him in B tier. I think him and Javonte Williams, they've been solid enough. They're good. They've been solid. I think they're better. He's better than Gaskin. Him and Javonte Williams better than Gaskin and Kenyon Drake. So I think B tier is a good place to put him. Mark Ingram, okay. He's on the Saints now. So now I would say C or D. Is it disrespectful to put Mark Ingram in D? No, we're just going to put him in C. We'll be nice. But if he was on the Texans, I don't know. Well, he hasn't had a big enough sample size on the Saints, but in the past when he was on the Saints, he was good. So let's just put him in C tier just out of respect. He did win a Heisman, but I don't know. He could be in the D tier. Let me know what you guys think. Alvin Kamara, absolute S tier. I mean, if Austin Eckler isn't the best pass-catching running back, it's Mr. Alvin Kamara. Of course he's hurt right now because that's just what great running backs do. They get hurt. They're really good at it. But I mean, hopefully he gets back soon. But when he plays, no question, dual threat, beast of a running back. Awesome. Definite S tier. Miles Sanders. Okay, Miles Sanders has been a little disappointing this year. He's been in and out of the lineup, but when he's played, he's been really good, really solid. He's just shown off his abilities. I think he's a solid B-tier running back. He can catch passes. He's efficient. He's just really good when he plays. Nick Chubb is... If Derrick Henry isn't the best pure rusher in the league, it's either Nick Chubb or Jonathan Taylor. I don't know how he does it, because if you really think about it, Nick Chubb doesn't catch a lot of passes, okay? He's not the biggest, fastest, or strongest running back, but somehow this guy gets 6 yards per carry, and in his career he's averaging over 5. Just insane efficiency. I just love the way he runs. I don't know how he does it. I think he's a good blend of every asset you want in a running back, but he's just awesome. When he plays, oh man, just like 5 yards. I don't know how he does it. 5 yards per carry. He's great. A great workhorse running back. When he plays, just look at his numbers. You'll be blown away. The yards per carry, the yards per game, touchdowns, just everything you want in a pure workhorse running back. He's the guy. Nick Chubb's awesome. Najee Harris, okay, don't be fooled by his lack of efficiency numbers. The Steelers, they could have any running back in the league on their team, and he probably would underperform. He's been a great workhorse. As a rookie, they've expected a lot out of Najee Harris. They've given him a lot on his plate to handle, and he's pretty much delivered for the most part. He's been healthy, knock on wood. The volume's been there. He's just delivered. He can catch passes. Is he I think he's an A-tier running back. I think he has a bright future. If he had a better offensive line, you can just see the talents there. He would definitely be ranked higher than. I mean, he would definitely show you that he's a legit great running back, and he will be. Nyheim Hines. Oh man, see, he might be a reason why a lot of people weren't high on Jonathan Taylor. They gave him a big contract this offseason, and now he's just gonna have to stay on the bench most of the time because he's a C tier. He's a really solid pass catching specialist. He's not bad, but he's not in the game. I mean, how can I put him higher than C tier? But he's all right. Philip Lindsay, he's not even on the Texans. I don't even remember what team he's on. Whatever it is, he's on the Dolphins, but I don't care. He's not that good. Well, let's just put him in C tier. When he was on the Broncos, he was fine, but the Texans kind of screwed him over. He's not even the starter. It's still it's mainly Gaskin's backfield, so let's just keep him in the C tier. We move on to Raheem Mostert. This should be Elijah Mitchell. This is Elijah Mitchell's world, and we're all living in it because he's been great. Just pretend, like I said, this is Elijah Mitchell. A-tier running back. Super underrated. He's just a breakout, unexpected surprise this year. Elijah Mitchell, whoever the Niners have as their workhorse running back, will probably be at least in the A tier because of the insane efficiency. So credit to him. Ronald Jones has lost his job. He's in Bruce Arians' doghouse. He's lost his job to Mr. Lenny, playoff Lenny. I'll put him in the C tier. He's not bad when he plays, but he just doesn't play, so C tier's about right. Saquon Barkley, him and his big-ass quads, he's always hurt. He's found his way back, but he just hasn't been good enough for long enough to be in the S tier, but a really solid A tier, super talented. If we're talking about talent, he might be the best in the league, or he's right up there, but I can't put him higher than A tier. Tariq Cohen, has he even played this year? I feel like he hasn't played that much. He's a bona fide backup. I mean, he's a good pass catching specialist. He's a good backup, but come on, C tier. You can't put backups higher than C tier, in my opinion. This is Tevin Coleman, but it's really Michael Carter. He's kind of taken over. I was high on Michael Carter, the rookie out of North Carolina, coming in to this season. I had a feeling that he would take over the Jets' backfield, and he pretty much has. And he's been really solid. He's a good dual threat running back, and you got to give him some credit for being on the Jets. It's kind of like Najee Harris. Like, the numbers, he's better than his numbers. Okay, Michael Carter is a solid B tier. I think he's been impressive, especially as of late. And we're going to finish off with James Conner, a very nice surprise this year in the NFL. He was a backup to Chase Edmonds, but obviously since Edmonds has been hurt, he's kind of taken over, and he's been really good, gets a ton of touchdowns. I think he's second in league in rushing touchdowns behind Jonathan Taylor. The efficiency's not there, and he hasn't been good enough for long enough to be in the A or S, but a really solid B tier. And as expected, the B tier is the most common one because we have a lot of good running backs in this league. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this tier list video. Let me know where you guys agree with me and where you disagree with me. This was fun. Another great tier list video. I had fun making it. And another balanced one, you know, just every tier has at least 5 running backs. I'm happy with that. But guys, here's an unfortunate trend that unfortunately is the harsh reality. It symbolizes the harsh reality of the running back position. Look at all the running backs in S tier, okay? 2 of them are currently healthy, okay? Unfortunately, McCaffrey's out for the year. Dalvin Cook might be out for the year. Derrick Henry has been out for a good amount of weeks, might be coming back soon. Alvin Kamara, he's out right now. Jonathan Taylor and Nick Chubb are the only ones that are healthy. So that's the unfortunate thing. So let's just hope for better health in the future, but it's a tough position. But it's a great position. I mean, it's a great position to rank just like any other position. But it's a fragile one, so it is what it is, guys. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know your opinions. Comment your opinions in the comments below, obviously. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you like football, you like sports. That would be so awesome. I would be thrilled if you did that, but do whatever you want. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.